Flashback, 1991. A 10th straight bowl game without a loss. A top 4 finish for the 5th year in a row. 12 consecutive weeks as the #1 team in the country. Another Jim Thorpe Award. The Johnny Unitas Award for the top quarterback in the nation. An offense that averaged over 36 points per game. One of the meanest, stingiest defenses in the country. Riding on such a wave of success, the last thing a fan would expect from any athletic program would be change. But in this election year, the word change was epitomized by Florida State University's football team. The Seminoles had a new leader at the helm of the offense, a young offensive line, and were playing in a conference for the first time ever. Yet they ripped through one of the toughest schedules in the nation, finishing 11-1, including an undefeated 8-0 conference record, a record 8th straight bowl game victory. This Florida State team continued to get better game by game until they were quite possibly the best team in the land by season end. The reasons for this success were actually not all that surprising. A brutal, punishing defense led by Lombardi and Butkus Award winner Marvin Jones. A newfound fast break offense led by ACC Player of the Year Charlie Ward. And of course, Bobby Bowden. Perhaps the best tribute to the man is that he is not afraid to change with the times, adapting brilliantly to new ways of winning games, as well as dealing with young student athletes. In 1992, Bobby Bowden became the first coach in NCAA history to have his teams finish in the top 5 for 6 consecutive seasons. His current record of 11 bowls without a loss, also an NCAA record. And FSU's streak of 8 bowl victories in a row, another NCAA record. It's no wonder that Coach Bowden is the all-time winningest bowl coach. The Florida State Seminoles were the ACC champions, Orange Bowl champions, and national champion runners-up with a #2 ranking. 1992 was a year for ACC glory and orange rewards. A new era began on September 5th when the Seminoles began ACC play by hosting the Duke Blue Devils. FSU's veteran defense presented an overture of the season. Duke's first drive went down to the home team's 13-yard line when Leon Fowler of Fort Myers picked off a pass and returned it 94 yards. The pick was the 4th longest interception return in school history. The Seminole D was punishing all night long. The Blue Devils were held to a mere 16 yards rushing and 1 for 14 on 3rd down attempts. The fierce defense also had 6 sacks. Charlie Ward connected with Kes McCorvey for 3 TDs. Split-end Matt Pryor grabbed the season's longest catch.
Throws it downfield on the run. He's going to ride over Matt Pryor. 10 to the 5. Touchdown, FSU!
I always work on my moves. I get a good move on the corner. It froze him, and Charlie seen me open. He caught his arm. He was going to throw somewhere else. He threw it to me, and it's a perfect throw. I just run in the end zone.
With the 48-21 opening day win, the Seminoles threw down the gauntlet for the ACC. Clemson Tigers, winner of 13 ACC titles and defending conference champs. The 15th ranked Tigers and 83,000 fans welcomed FSU to Death Valley. While the offense struggled early, the defense again came up with a big play. Clemson goes for it early on 4th down and comes up empty.
Here's the snap. He will hand the ball off. The ball carrier is stopped, and I don't think he got the first down. Right over the top went Greer, and he was caught before he got airborne. And the Seminole defense has held the Tigers near midfield.
On FSU's second drive, Ward was 3 for 4 for 54 yards and rushed for 34 more, setting up the sophomore sledgehammer.
Here is the snap. Hands it off to Floyd. Touchdown, Florida State.
Florida State's defense, quite possibly their best ever, sparked the next Seminole score. Tommy Henry intercepts a Richard Moncrief pass.
Moncrief will drop the throw. Coxiar fires downfield. It's intercepted by the Seminoles. To the 50-yard line goes Tommy Henry. Henry with a football to the 35. He is knocked down to the 34-yard line, and Tommy Henry, knowing was going to get one tonight, and he picks it off, and the Seminoles are in business.
Matt Fryer's 25-yard reception pays dividends when Dan Mowry connects on a 29-yarder as the Noles go up by 10. This game would go back and forth into the fourth quarter when Clemson emerged with a 20-17 lead. With just 5:26 left in the game, Ward began his Elway drive. Now, under 3 minutes to go, Ward goes for it all.
Charlie drops back to throw. Looks, cocks the eye, fires. It's caught! Touchdown, Florida State! Kevin Knox at the goal line. Charlie.
Matt Fryer, the outside receiver, came in on a drag route and had me hooking up on a little 10-yard curl right behind him. Well, they kind of flinched on Matt, which, you know, all you need is a split second. Charlie, being a good quarterback as he is, hit me. And there you have it. We're 2-0 in the season.
With 2 minutes left and the noise reaching 140 decibels, Reggie Freeman and John Davis put the game away. Clemson coach Ken Hatfield had never lost at home. He had never played the Seminoles.
Florida State went out there and looked like they were going to dominate it, 10-0 lead. First thing you know, Clemson came back. The first thing you know, Clemson soared ahead. Then Florida State came back. Then Clemson came back again. Then we came back again and made a great ball game. And that was the first introduction of the shotgun offense to Florida State's 1992 football team. And we didn't know what that was going to mean later on.
On September 19, Bobby Bowden hit the road for the 100th time as the Seminole skipper. And by the end of the day, his status as king of the road was further secured. The first quarter belonged to the defenses. NC State strikes first. The Tribe retaliates thanks to Corey Sawyer's first career interception.
Buys time. Here's it out. Long down the field. It is intercepted. It's picked off by a Seminole. Corey Sawyer, a spectacular snare.
We was in a man-to-man coverage, and he tried to run a post on me, and, I was in good position, and the ball was kind of far, so, I had to dive out and catch the ball. But that catch right there, it really made me happy because I really laid out for it and I came down with the ball. It ain't too many people to do that, and I didn't expect myself to do that. But, that what really got it rolling right there.
Sawyer's first of 3 interceptions on the day continued the string of cornerback excellence at Florida State. Dion never did it. Buckley never did it. No Seminole DB in 22 years had picked off 3 enemy passes in one game until the sophomore from Key West did it against NC State. This game marked the emergence of FSU's top toss-and-catch duo.
Alley-oop pass toward Vanover. Vanover makes the catch at the 30. Vanover to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State.
Although 3 of Florida State touchdowns came via Ward bombs, the running game was also key. For the first time in 1992, an FSU tailback went over the century mark, with Sean Jackson accumulating 101 yards on 12 carries. Backup Tiger McMillan followed with 92 yards on 14 tries. For the 3rd game in a row, the Tribe defense put in a stellar performance. The Seminoles recorded 6 tackles for loss and held the Wolfpack to only 2 third-down conversions on 13 attempts. September 26th, Parents' Weekend in Tallahassee and Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons didn't have a prayer. This game would mark the emergence of freshman sensation Tamarick Vanover. Vanover could do more than just catch the ball.
And waiting for it is Vanover at the 4-yard line. Makes the catch. Now will bring it upfield. He is to the 20. He is to the 25. Vanover punches to the left side to the 40. Vanover to the 50. Vanover to the 40. Vanover to the 30. Vanover to the 20. Vanover to the 10. Touchdown!
the most exciting moment as a Seminole for me because everybody was talking about can Tamarick Vanover kickoff return, and basically that was all I was supposed to do my first year here. You know, I caught the ball and I saw a big hole, and I just took it and I was gone.
The 35-7 final moved Florida State to number 2 in the country as they headed south for the annual game of the century. The Hurricanes hadn't lost in the Orange Bowl in 47 straight games, and the defending national champions were ready to defend their turf. ABC and a national television audience were on hand to watch this clash of titans. On the opening kickoff, Tamarick Vanover silenced the sellout crowd.
And Vanover will field it at the 6-yard line. He'll come up the near sideline. I'll cut it back to the left side of the field. He gets a block over there. Goes to the left, cuts it up the middle. Vanover to the 20, to the 25, to the 30. Vanover to the 40. Vanover to the 50-yard line. Vanover to the 40. Vanover to the 30. Vanover to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State!
Sometimes I see a little tunnel that I always seem to hit, and when I hit it, I just see open field, and I just sprint to the end zone.
The game then turned into a defensive struggle, with both teams going at each other like heavyweight prize fighters in the oppressive heat and humidity of Miami. Marvin Jones was everywhere. The defense may have played their best game of the year on this October afternoon.
It was probably the best performance, playing against a team like that that's, you know, is used to scoring a lot of points on people. And, I mean, we literally shut them down, exactly for 2 plays. It was the defensive game, basically.
Dan Mowry nailed 3 field goals, but the Noles couldn't hold the lead. With a minute and a half to play, Ward directed another drive that seemed to defy the odds. With players on both teams mentally and physically drained, time ran out on the Seminoles.
Right before the end of the ball game, when we were behind by 19-16, and we had one more surge to make, we went back into the shotgun. Charlie took us all the way down to their 20, 21-yard line, 9 seconds to go, and we actually kicked on 2nd down. We had time to score. We had downs to score, but the time would not allow it, and we ended up missing a field goal that could have tied it. The key to Miami were the 2 big plays they got. They did a good job, but we did a much better job. They did, in my opinion, defensively, but they hit 2 key touchdown passes. We didn't hit any. We returned a kickoff for a touchdown, and we kicked 3 field goals. You know, not because we wasn't trying to score, just because they wouldn't let us score, and we had to kick.
We played them, good. With their type of receivers, we played them real well. We almost had a shutout, but we played them real well.
I think emotionally, I think the whole team was hurt. We all felt that we should have won that game, and right now I still can't believe that we lost it. If you look at the film, there's no way that we should have lost that game, and I guess we just have to look forward to next year.
I call Miami the Miami Fighting Irish because they have to be the luckiest team in college football. They always end up on top, and I guess you have to commend them for that. But just like last year, we killed them, we beat them all over the field, and then 1 or 2 plays decided the whole game. So, it was a very devastating loss for us, but we sucked it up and kept going on with our lives.
Miami talk all this noise, on the TV screen, but, in the back of their mind, they respect us and everything, so basically that's why they didn't want to, play us for the national championship, because they know we had our act together this time.
Marvin Jones is the best linebacker I've ever seen playing college football. He's all over the place. He gets better every year. I remember when he was a freshman, he was 215 pounds and ran fast. Now he's 240 pounds and runs faster.
Perhaps Miami coach Dennis Erickson said it best. The rest of the country agreed. No player in FSU history has won as many honors as the inside linebacker known as Shade Tree. A 2-time consensus All-American, Jones led the tribe in tackles in each of the 3 years he played here, earning him the honor of most valuable player on defense.
I've had decent hits here and there, but I really haven't had that hit that I really desire. That's when you call 911 and the trauma helicopter sort of lands on the Seminole head to come get him.
After becoming the youngest ever Lombardi Award finalist in 1991, Marvin ran away with the trophy this year. The 1992 Butkus Award for the best linebacker in America also went to Marvin Jones. While the offense took a little time to gel, the defense dominated from the first snap. The swarming defenders held opponents to an unheard-of 25% success rate on third down conversions and allowed only 3 rushing touchdowns all year. Both feats were school records. The fastest defense in the country also notched 41 quarterback sacks, second best ever at FSU. The line was anchored by Carl Simpson, who had 9 sacks to lead the squad and ranked second on the all-time list.
Like in the past, our offense always have had the glory, so it's kind of like now we're getting a little recognition and everything, so we look forward to it.
Dan Footman and Todrick McIntosh also punished opposing offenses. The linebacking core may have been the finest of the land, with Derek Brooks, Reggie Freeman, Ken Alexander, Sterling Palmer, and of course, Marvin.
Going into the season, you know, we pretty much thought and felt that we had to carry the team along, at least for the first half or some few games, you know, going into the season. And we kind of did at first. You know, we didn't dominate like we expected to, but we played consistently all year.
You know, I take great pride in scripting a person of their stature.
Corey Sawyer's 7 pickoffs showed that he plans on continuing Florida State's amazing tradition of pro-caliber quarterbacks.
You know, I'm glad I can carry on a tradition because a lot of great quarterbacks came through here, and I'm glad we are not the letdown, you know, in the tradition.
The Sky Patrol also featured outstanding play from Clifton Abraham, Corey Fuller, Tommy Henry, Leon Fowler, John Davis, and LaVon Brown.
The defense, you know, we kept the offense in a lot of games, and, you know, everyone just stuck together, and we all mold as a unit, because at first, you know, we was like had a lot of individuals, and then as the season went on, you know, we all just buckled down and just said, hey, you know, we can have a better defense in the nation. So that's what we set out to do.
This is one of those deals you'd say, well, if this is not the best, it's got to be in the top 3. You know, you'd make that kind of statement about them.
On October 10th, the University of North Carolina came to town. The eventual Peach Bowl champions were primed for an upset. But this day belonged to the men of the garnet and gold.
Jackson to the 1, hurdles, he has a Florida State touchdown. There's the wall on the left side. It's to the corner, to the 30, to the 35, to the 40, to the 45, to the 50, to the 40, to the 35, to the 30. Down the sideline, host high-stepping Corey Sawyer. Touchdown, FSU! Reverse to Jabari Vanover. Vanover to the 5, 1, touchdown, Florida State!
The Seminole D was again awesome, holding UNC to 2 of 15 on third down tries and limiting All-American Natrone Means to a mere 69 yards rushing, 40 yards below his career average.
We knew coming into the season we were going to have a young offense, and we had a veteran defensive line. And as long as they stayed healthy and as long as they played up to par, what the defense was going to hold, that wasn't any pressure at all. We were just going out there to play.
The 36-13 final gave FSU their 5th straight ACC win. Some called it the greatest comeback in Florida State football history. One thing was for certain, the trip to Georgia Tech would be the turning point of the season.
I know people say, well, Georgia Tech's not like Nebraska, or not like Ohio State, or not like Michigan. Yes, they are too. People forget that just 2 years ago, or 2.5, Georgia Tech won the national championship.
The Seminoles looked unstoppable on their first drive. Sophomore William Floyd hits pay dirt to put the Tribe on top early. Marvin added to his tomahawk collection, while Todrick McIntosh, Reggie Freeman, and Dan Footman showed the Yellow Jackets who had the league's top D. But Georgia Tech would get 18 unanswered points and head into the fourth quarter with an 18-7 lead and an FSU offense in reverse. To make matters worse, Marvin Jones had severely sprained his ankle on the turf and was on the bench. The team rallied behind their fallen leader.
I was sitting on the sideline, beside Marvin, and, just the way that he was looking, it just I felt the personal, just something I felt inside of me that I wasn't going to let him down, and, I let him know everything was going to be all right, and, the defense we was going to hold, and we was going to win the game.
I put everything on the line. I said, hey, I got to do my job and more. And that's the way I felt that all the individuals on the team played. And with all those positive things, I mean, we came out on top.
Looking over there, seeing Marvin crying on the sidelines, and, I guess because he was not there, to help us pull it off and, jeopardizing our winning streak at the time. To see the offense function like they did, it sort of tell you, like, when they want to, they can, you know what I'm saying? So, they pretty much pull together and, they give you some thought, that, hey, we got something here.
It was difficult from the point of, when everybody thinks you're a good player, a great player. I mean, that's the time when you really want to be with your team is when you're behind.
It was now time for the gun. Bowden and the offensive staff brought out the shotgun offense, and Ward took aim at the 6 shooters. William Floyd capped the drive, and the Noles were closing. Tech answered with 3 before Ward cranked it up again, this time doing the honors himself. Dan Mowry's onside kick was textbook perfect, and Corey Sawyer recovered it 40 yards from victory. From there, it was all Charlie, converting on 2 fourth downs, including the game winner by Kes McCorvey.
Charlie throws it near side. It's caught by McCorvey. McCorvey the 5. McCorvey, touchdown, Florida State. It's a touchdown. It's a touchdown.
I was tired. If it wasn't for the game was on the line, I'd probably pass out there. It just took a lot of heart, to come back from that deficit.
Late in the third quarter, we was behind. Everybody was just around the sideline, about to give up and stuff. And we just started running the gun, and we had to suck it up, all the conditioning we've been doing, everything that we worked hard for, the off season, the preseason, especially the ACC title was on the line. And we just had to buck it out and take it right to them.
It showed that, we still had the guts to come back from behind, and we wasn't giving up on ourselves. And, I think we showed that we were true champions here.
As far as the Georgia Tech game, I think it was the coming out party for our offense because in the fourth quarter it gave us a lot of confidence and also gave us a chance to look at a new offense to see what worked for everyone, the whole team.
Oh, that was a great win. I mean, after we had that win, we just knew there was no way in the world we were going to lose again this year.
When we, drove back and won that game, we knew right then that we were national championship contenders for real and that we were one of the best teams in the country if we implemented this offense and ran it correctly.
The character of the 1992 Seminole shined brilliantly as the team rallied behind each other in the face of adversity to pull out the 29-24 victory.
Charlie's a great quarterback. It's just you've got to be very disciplined in what you're doing because you never know where he's at and what he's going to do. So, and he's led this offense and he's done a great job this year, I think.
Yeah, Charlie Ward, one of the best in college game, back there leading the offense. He's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. He runs when he has to. He throws when he wants to. So he does a lot of things and give us a lot more chances to score a lot of points.
What Charlie Ward meant to FSU's offense could be summed up in one word: everything. Never in the history of the university has a quarterback been so diverse, so explosive, and commanded such a presence. After only one season as a starter, Ward put his name among the all-time greats and earned the honor of most valuable player on offense. His 3,100 yards of total offense was the most by any FSU player ever. His 504 rushing yards was the most by any quarterback to play here, and his numbers put him in the top 4 of every single season QB stat.
I think Charlie Ward is probably the best football player in the country. Now, that's what I think. You know, I mean, how many quarterbacks can you get in the nation and put them standing right there back behind that center with the ability to run and throw and move around, the mobility that he has? It's hard for me to think there's any player in the country playing better than him right now.
A phrase borrowed from Ward's other pastime became the best way to describe 1992's potent offense: fast break. Bobby Bowden and his offensive brain trust had become like mad scientists, tinkering with every different offensive scheme imaginable until the no-huddle shotgun proved to be the magic elixir.
We were really struggling offensively of what we should be doing, whether we should be in a two-back offense, a one-back offense, a shotgun offense, or a pro set or an I set. We were really struggling trying to find what Charlie could do the best and we could do the best.
The 38 points per game was the third best average in school history. The team began their season with an unproven quarterback and an offensive line made up almost entirely of underclassmen. Robbie Baker and Robert Stevenson were the senior leaders who helped raise the line to a level of maturity few thought possible in just 1 year.
It was a fairly new offense and a new offense line, and, you know, it took time to build and come together, and, you know, right now at the end of the season, it's in full tack and full speed, and, you know, we're doing great with it right now.
In 1991, the receiving corps had been known for its inconsistency more than anything else. In 1992, they were a force to be reckoned with, totaling over 2,800 yards in receptions. Baker, Knox, Fryer, McCorvey, Ellison, and Vanover, the six shooters.
We made every play that we had to make. We made the plays down the stretch. We kept the ball, you know, with the help of the defense, we kept us in the game, and we did what we had to do because the receivers was the focus of the offense this year.
The surprise of the group was Tamarick Vanover. Since 1985, only Lawrence Dawsey has had more yards in a season than Vanover. The freshman led the team in catches and yardage, becoming the first freshman to lead both categories since Ron Sellers 26 years ago. Tight end Lonnie Johnson was also a force in the new fast break offense. The FSU running backs were as strong as ever, with Sean Jackson and Tiger McMillan combining for over 1,000 yards. William Floyd's 10 touchdowns proved him to be one of the strongest and most versatile backs to play in Tallahassee. In 1992, Florida State special teams were just that. With most of the specialists returning, Coach Bowden let most of them do their jobs despite last year's criticisms. Sophomore place kicker Dan Mowry connected on 93% of his PATs, and his 81 total points were the most by any kicker since 1987. Incredibly, not a single punt was blocked all year. John Wemberly and the punt coverage team gave a strong performance with the longest punt return against them all year, a trifle 17 yards. But it was the return men who lit it up in 92. ACC Rookie of the Year Tamarick Vanover helped the Noles set an NCAA record for kickoff returns with an average of 51 yards per return, including 2 for touchdowns. On punt returns, Corey Sawyer was the top man in the ACC and 4th in the nation, averaging nearly 15 yards per return.
You know, I'm glad I'm back there, and every game I feel more confident, and right now I just feel that my punt return team is doing good, so I feel that nobody in the country will be able to stop that punt return.
On Halloween, the road-weary Seminoles crept into Charlottesville, Virginia for a gruesome battle with the 23rd-ranked Cavaliers. The Noles were without their top receiver, their leading rusher, and their leading tackler. Plus, the night was bone-chilling cold and as damp as a dungeon. It had all the makings of a Halloween nightmare. After Virginia broke the shutout in the second quarter with a field goal, Tiger answered with 21 yards. Then it's Ward to Vanover.
Charlie fumbles the football, picks it up, looking left, firing left, toward the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Florida State. Touchdown, FSU. What a catch of the end zone.
We played a lot of teams on the road, a lot of good teams on the road, and on the road in ACC is pretty tough. And we hung in there each and every week and came out with a victory some way.
Ward would waltz into the end zone himself to end the third quarter, but it was the defense that handed Coach Bowden his 150th win as the Seminole skipper. They took the life out of the nation's top-rated quarterback. Bobby Goodman was 7 of 19 for a career-low 49 yards and 2 INTs.
Here's it out deep. Corey Sawyer in the area, battling for it. He will pick it off. Intercepted at the 18-yard line. On third down, Florida State has an interception. Clifton Abraham at the 40-yard line.
Led by Derek Brooks, the swarm left Goodman screaming like a banshee, sacking him 5 times for losses of 50 yards. By the end of the game, FSU had allowed only 1 touchdown in the last 11 quarters.
Marvin Jones did not play in that ball game against Virginia because he had gotten injured in the second and third quarter against Georgia Tech. And so we were very concerned about that. Ed Clark came in and played real well for him, and along with Todd Rebowl, a freshman, who they had to kind of take up the slack in there. But the guy that had the super day that day was Derek Brooks. He led us in tackling, and he kind of overcame the fact that Marvin Jones was missing his first game in a long time.
The 13-3 win gave FSU the ACC championship and guaranteed they would play on New Year's Day.
It means a lot to the team, and that was our primary goal this year, to win the conference our first year, and then to go undefeated in the conference, and hopefully we can bring, a football powerhouse to this conference and upgrade it, with the level, say, as basketball is in the ACC.
That's something that no one can take away from us. That's something that, you could say we were the first team to do it the first year we were in the conference. I mean, that's awesome.
To finally, to win a championship, we have been denied the national championship for, since I've been there, 4 years, since '89, 2, 3, 4, but, we never could obtain number 1. So to finally be number 1 in a conference and, say that we're the top dogs of the ACC, it really felt good.
Oh, it was a great feeling, especially when we had to go into a tough Virginia home backyard and play them. So it was real tough, and we knew what was on the line, and we wanted to get it done with then instead of losing to them and have to play against Maryland.
I had never been a champion before, even in high school. I never won a championship, and basically the first one felt so good.
November 7th, homecoming in Tallahassee. And before all is said and done, third-ranked Florida State and Maryland had rewritten the record books. A crowd of over 64,000 watched the no-huddle shotgun offense shoot down 11 school records and 6 ACC marks in a 69-21 romp over the Terrapins.
It was just one of those days where our offense was clicking. It was the game I said after it was over, that's the first time we clicked this year, and it was. We clicked offensively, and we clicked defensively as well.
We knew that Maryland's offense could score a lot of points in the run and shoot. So once we got the ball, we knew we had to score or keep the ball away from them, and we did a pretty good job of that. So we scored, and we also kept the ball away from them. So, it was a good game for a lot of people.
The following week, the Green Wave came to town, but Tulane made barely a ripple.
And the handoff goes to William Floyd, hurdles. He scores a Florida State touchdown. It's picked up. Touchdown FSU. Touchdown Florida State. Touchdown Florida State. Touchdown Florida State. Touchdown Florida State. Touchdown Florida State.
We've had games with them where we struggled, where they stayed pretty tight. We finally won. We've had several games with them that we blew out, but not many. But this game was a blowout from the start. I mean, it was just every time we got the ball, we took it and scored. And their score was, what, 70 to nothing. I'm talking maybe in the third quarter it was about like that.
The season finale, ABC, a national television audience, and a record crowd of over 68,000 watched the Gators slither into Doak Campbell Stadium for a monumental clash between two teams still gunning for a national title.
It was inspiring to me being down on the field where I can hear the cheer of the crowd, because I stood in Florida's stadium last year where the roar was deafening. I stood in Auburn Stadium where the roar was deafening. I stood in Miami's. I stood in Notre Dame's. I stood in Ohio State's and Michigan's, you know, with those great crowds they have. But I guarantee you there was as much noise level in Doak Campbell Stadium for that Florida football game out of those 68,000 record-breaking crowd than I have felt down there. And they did a good job. And for us to have a home field advantage, you know, we've got to have that, because that's what we face when we go to somebody else's place.
It was the fun and gun against the fast break. On the third play of the game, Corey Fuller leaped for his first career interception. 5 minutes later, Sean Jackson carried a slew of Gator defenders into the end zone. After the Seminole defense forced a punt, quarterback Charlie Ward tested the Gator secondary with middle to long-range passes. On the next series, Ward went 4 for 4. Tamarick Vanover finished the drive.
Now Charlie takes the snap. Here comes the pressure. Gets the pass away. It is caught in the end zone. Touchdown! Tamarick Vanover through the hands of the Gator defender.
The FSU lead was 14. After the Gators cut the advantage in half, it was more Vanover excitement.
Waiting for it, Vanover at the 11, and he'll try to return it. Vanover goes to the left. Up the middle goes Vanover. 30, 35. Step onto the 40. To the 45 to the 50. To the 40 goes Vanover. To the 30 goes Vanover. To the 20. To the 10-yard line. He is tripped up with a touchdown-saving tackle. It'll be first and goal FSU.
Mowry added 3 more. The Gator woes continued late in the first quarter.
Out of the pro set, Matthews on second down and 10 and a half. He'll hand it off to Rhett. Here comes the reverse. It's fumble. Diving for it, FSU. Houston never got the handle. The Seminoles come up with it. Derek Alexander, a freshman from Jacksonville Range, recovers the football.
Tiger goes airborne.
Ward has Floyd and McMillan in the eye set. Toss pitch comes to McMillan. Circles to his left. Hurdles. Touchdown. Penalty flag thrown, however. And this one might come back. Well, William Floyd got in somebody's face. After McMillan scored, it is a touchdown. Apparently the flag is going to be on a guy in orange and white.
Last year, towards the end of the year, when we lost that big upset against Miami, you know, we kind of feel like we was out of the national championship race, and we kind of went into Florida game real dead. This year, I think the difference was we started peaking. We got better and better towards the end of the season, and therefore that gives us more hope and, you know, stuff to play for.
Florida answered again to keep the game interesting. With their infinite wisdom, the Gators test the NCAA Freshman of the Year again.
Here's the kickoff. And deep is Vanover at the 1. They'll set up the wedge in the middle. Here comes Vanover. He breaks it through. Vanover breaks the tackle to the 30. He's to the 40-yard line. Vanover to the 50. Vanover in bounds. He's to the 40, to the 30. He's to the 25-yard line. And he has another outstanding return. Can anybody in the country stop Tamarick Vanover?
4 plays later, Ward does it himself.
Play fake by Charlie Ward. Rolls to his right. Cocks the arm. Wants to throw. Runs to his right to the 3, to the 2. Dives. Touchdown, Florida State. How are you going to stop Charlie Ward?
The Seminole offense moved with ease, scoring 38 of their 45 points in the first half. FSU amassed nearly 500 yards of total offense against a once-proud Gator D. Charlie Ward is airborne for 331 yards. With time running out in the first half, William Floyd powers 4 yards for the score. At the half, the scoreboard reads 38-17. Floyd's second TD pushed the Tribe lead to 45-17 early in the third quarter.
We definitely think we're the best team in the country. We definitely think that we're the best offense in the country, and that's why we want Florida to beat Alabama, because we want to show the whole United States that, hey, we're a team to be reckoned with. And then we play Miami again, we definitely beat them. There's no doubt in our minds about that.
There were many superstars in the FSU win. Kevin Knox grabbed 11 passes for 123 yards to post the best game by a Seminole wide receiver all year.
You know, Charlie Ward kept hitting me on those little 6-yard stop routes. You know, basically we were taking what they were going to give us. They gave us a 6-yard stop route. We took it. Every once in a while, Charlie hit me on a flag route. They gave that to us. We took it. And, you know, that's basically how I, call 11 balls, like that.
The defense, led by Marvin Jones's 11 tackles, also had a strong performance, holding Florida to 41 yards rushing on the game and -7 yards on the ground in the first half.
I went out there like a wild man. I wanted to destroy Florida. But at the same time, we had to show the poise of not going out there and really pounding on Florida, because we were going to have to cheer for them the next week.
Our plan was the shut down, the run, and everything, because they had them freshmen hyped up down there. And Coach Amato just said he wasn't accepting no freshmen, out there dominating his boys and, looking good out there and stuff like that. So he stressed that all week long, had us pushing the sled, extra stuff like that. So we was like, hey, we done did all this work, so we ain't finna go out here and let some freshmen beat us down. And so basically we went out there and just took over the line of scrimmage.
And I don't know what the attitude was or whether they're looking ahead or whatever the case may be. But, we went out and, showed them that, hey, if you're going to come to Doak Campbell, you have to have your mind right and your body right. And one of theirs was missing.
By winning 10 games for the 6th straight year, Bobby Bowden became the first coach in major college football history to achieve such remarkable success over so many years. Ain't it good to beat the Gators? Riding a crescendo of momentum into the Orange Bowl, FSU prepared to show the nation that they belonged at the top of the polls. Heavily favored over the Nebraska Cornhuskers, the Seminoles were in control from start to finish. Ward's touchdown pass to Vanover was the only first-quarter touchdown Nebraska gave up all year. The defense stymies the Cornhusker offense. To start the second quarter, Vanover takes the reverse and goes 29 yards. Then it's role reversal. Sean Jackson hits Ward for a 28-yard pickup, and Mowry finishes it off. A swarming defense forces a Nebraska fumble. Dan Footman recovers, and Ward connects with McCorvey for early domination. With the Seminole D holding the Big Red in check, Charlie Ward cranks up the fast break offense with long passes to Shannon Baker and Omar Ellison. Dan Mowry is true once again. The Noles take a 20-7 lead into the locker room at the half. On their first drive of the second half, FSU starts where they left off. Last year's Cotton Bowl MVP collects 56 yards and a TD on the drive. Jackson would amass 190 all-purpose yards. Charlie Ward, as usual, had over 200 yards of total offense to earn the MVP trophy. The defense limits Nebraska's two 1,000-yard running backs to under 100 yards combined. The Cornhuskers could never really establish any kind of offensive threat against an overpowering Seminole defense. With the Orange Bowl championship, the Seminoles have won every major bowl they can win. They've won almost every individual award possible, and they now have a conference crown to wear. 1992 was certainly a year of ACC glory and orange rewards.
You know, you don't really like to look into the future, but sometimes, you know, you can't help but, you know, wonder how good can this offense be or this team really be next year.
I look for a great defense next year out of our ball club and an even better offense, and that's what's going to be real exciting. So the rest of our schedule better watch out. We're going to have a tough football team.
Yeah, I'm very excited about next year. I think that the 6 shooters will shoot up anybody in their way. And I think the Florida State team will come out with a national championship next year.
It's going to be great to be a Seminole in '93.